Hello. It is Tammy coming to you live from Hometown Hippie headquarters in my office at my house in Farmville, Virginia. What is up, everybody? Come on, say hi. Tell me what you're doing to now. Now, please go like and tag. I got a good message this morning, and I'm messaging my mods and my admins, telling them to get their booties on. What's up, Sheila? Thank you, darling. Do me a favor and tag some folks in the comments. And as always, we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to just do that Grateful Fed. We're going to do a hashtag Grateful Fed today. Drop a hashtag Grateful Fed in the comments. It is. I've been up for a while. I've been up for a little while, kind of getting through the day, the morning, kind of enjoying. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's not showing me who that is. It's not showing me who that is. Um, so I'm going to say hello, and I'm going to go over here and try to turn the volume down and find the live so that I can see everybody who is popping in, because I see lots of Facebook users, lots of Sheila. Hey. I see lots of Facebook users. But if you can do me a favor and give StreamYard permission to see your name, then I can give you Lisa. I should have known it was Lisa. Lisa Phillips. Yeah, there you are. I see you. Melissa, what's up, Melissa? I see Melissa. I see Lisa. I see y'all now. Okay, I got you over here. So I can look, right? I can look. So as you jump on this morning, please drop me a hashtag Grateful Fed in the comments. Tell me what you're up to this morning. Um, like I said, I've been up for a while. Good morning, Hank. Good morning, Selena. Look at both of the Burnses in that. Oh, look at that with that last name. I love it. I love it. So, good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to talk about. We talked about yesterday a little bit. I was still discombobulated from the weekend, and I was just sharing everything. And this morning, I did a little post where I kind of talked about what I took away from this weekend, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. Maybe not in the way that you think, right? Maybe not in the way that you think. I'm going to go to my page here because I'm an older lady, and sometimes I have to read things, and I have to read things from way out here because I can't see them close up, so I have to hold them way out here. And gonna get my fence started. Okay, what are y'all up to today besides getting your fence started? It's got a little weather outside this morning. I have been up for a while. After the weekend, one of the things that I talked about was number one, things that I walked away with this weekend and understanding. That's where we're going to start today. So as you jump on here, again, do me a favor, see below, drop me a hashtag Grateful Fed in the comments and tag a friend. We are so excited that you're here joining us this morning for our Wake and Bake. And if you are brand new to joining us, before we jump into everything, hi, I'm Tammy and I'm the Hometown Hippie. I come live several times a week to do little fun stuff, right? I wanted to go to the beach, but it's going to rain. Yeah, it's going to rain today. It's okay though. There's the reason for it, right? We need the water, we need the rain. I am learning to lean into everything happens for a reason. It's interesting that that was actually said while I was away this weekend. My husband had gone out. Red is a big avid fisherman, and he was going out for an evening crappie fish. Like, if you don't know what a crappie is, it's actually kind of fish, not a crappie fish. Now, it ended up being a crappie fishing experience, but not in the way that he wanted, right? So he said that as he got out on the lake, had fried chicken to take with him, was so excited to go out and meet his buddy, no worries about anybody at home. I was gone. But he said that when they got there, it was raining just where they were fishing, like right over Sandy River, right? It's where it was raining. And so, well, I'm very, very, very sorry that that happened. And he was like, well, as you always say, it happened for a reason. It wasn't meant for us to go fishing. There was a reason for it, and we were divinely guided. So it's no big deal. And whenever when I came home from this retreat, and there's two red stories I'm going to tell about this retreat weekend three that I want to share with y'all. That was the first one, right? That he was like, hey, it's all in divine time. It's no sweat off my back. I let it roll off my back. I know that if we weren't meant to be there, then we didn't get to go there. And that made my hippie heart happy, right? Number two, the story from Red is that Friday night when I got there, they had the Marlin tournament here, record-breaking win, 4.4 million. My husband's like, if he was gonna like tell you like his dream of what he would do, if he could have like his perfect job, he would be like a professional fisherman, and he has this thing. He's like, you know how to become a millionaire fishing? I was like, cow. He said, start out as a billionaire. So I was like, whatever. But he definitely is an avid fisherman. It's kind of where he finds his peace. That's his church, right? He tells people all the time, like, why aren't you at church on Sundays or whatever? He's like, I could sit in church and think about fishing, or I could sit on the lake and look at all of the beautiful things that God has given us in this earth and give him such credit for it and such blessings for it that I feel like I am being a better servant of divinity by embracing the things in which God has created, right? And I loved that so much. But the other part of good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm not sure who this is, but good morning. Um, the other thing is that Friday night, uh, he was at home by himself, right? And he decided to give our kiddo a call. He decided to give Evan a call. And Evan was on our phone plan for years and years and years. And he had like a local 434 number. And then whenever he got his own cell phone plan, when he got grown up and married, right? He got his own cell phone plan. His number changed. Well, his dad and I are both those people where we just like add the new number and didn't even like know how to take the old number off. And Red's phone recently screwed up, so he's not sure if he had the new number even saved, kind of thing. But he called to speak to Evan on Friday night. And I don't have all the details or everything. He gave me the gist of it, so I'm sure he can tell the story a lot better than I can. But he said that he called and he was like, "Hey, son," and he said that the voice on the other end of the phone was like, "Dad?" He was like, "Yes, it's your dad." Like, are you smoking too much weed, son? Like, what is the problem here, right? So he was, yes, it's your dad, and he said the voice was like, "This is my dad." He's like, "Yes, son, it is your dad." Well, long story short, it was not Red's son, and Red was not that kid's dad. But the kid who had gotten Evan's phone had not been in contact with his dad for quite a while. And this phone call was kind of weird for him. And the kid got upset, and Red got upset because of the conversation. So Red said he spent 45 minutes talking to this kid and helping him through some stuff that he may needed a dad for. So he said he called it, and that again he was divinely guided to do that. And my husband is someone who he was in tears telling me the story about it, and it just made my heart happy that he took the time. And he says, like, every good morning, Dorothy, good morning, good morning, good morning. He took the time to interact with this young man, and I hope that it made a difference. I know it made a difference for my husband, because it touched him very much. It touched him a lot hearing that and thinking about that. And it made my heart happy. It made my heart very happy to know that he did that, and that happened, and that he had that moment. He understands that things sometimes we don't understand why they happen, but they do, and it's for a reason. Good morning, Heather. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So that was the first story, was the fact that Red knew that, like, not being able to fish, right? The fishing thing with the rain was divinely guided. He says, I wasn't supposed to be there. It was how it's supposed to be. No big deal. Then on Friday night, so that was Saturday. Friday night, he had his little moment, right? He had his little moment where he did the phone call with the young man that wasn't his kid, but he ended up talking to him like he was. So he that I think that was so needed, and I have a whole like feeling about. I'll journal about that myself, personal, but I think that's a good step for my husband, and I'm happy for him. And I needed to add this to my list, and I didn't know this was what today was going to be. And if he's watching this, he may like, Tammy, shut your mouth, like, shut your mouth. But um, we talk about detaching from the outcome and committing to the process and planting the seeds. And sometimes I get frustrated because they say you're the sum of the five people that you most surround yourself with. And sometimes I look around and I feel like the people who are the closest to me, it's our proximity, are sometimes the very most polar opposite of me. And I will always wonder sometimes if it's actually rubbing off, or if it's, if I should be, I don't know. And then I see things like this weekend, and the language that my husband uses, and I'm like, it's the seeds have been planted. He likes to put on that rough and tough exterior, but he's full of love and light and good vibes and all the things as well. Um, and the third thing is that Saturday we were sitting around camp and we were talking about, like, because you're camping, you don't have like delicious stuff all the time. We were kind of like roughing it, right? And I was like, man, I could go for a steak dinner. And we were kind of joking about the steak dinner. I was like, we could just leave and go to Lynchburg and get a steak, y'all. And they're like, I'm down. I'm like, I'm not dressed for that, but I was considering it for a minute. But I messaged Red and I was like, hey, when I get home tomorrow, can we do a steak? And he says, yep. And I told them around camp, I was like, when Red's birthday is, he's a Taurus. He's a Taurus. He's a May 2nd. He's a May 2nd birthday. Um, he and I told the girls, I was like, no, I said, my husband, I said, when I said, can we get a steak tomorrow night? When I asked him, hey, I didn't say, do you want to do a steak? I said, can we do a steak tomorrow night on the grill? Because he grills steaks. So I asked that question more of a like, hey, can you want to do a steak, right? I thought of that steak though. I know you did. Let me tell you what, I got home last night and Red had already, and we left early. So I got home like at 10:15 or so. Yesterday morning, went to the bathroom, then came in and did Sunday sermon, right? And after Sunday sermon, I guess it was before, I was like, do I need to go to the store? It's kind of nasty out. I'm like, do I need to go get steaks? He's like, no. He was like, done. I was like, what? He had gone that morning before I even got home, and got T-bone steaks, asparagus, and sweet potatoes for us to have this amazing steak dinner last night. And he 1,000,000% from start to finish did dinner last night. Now I have the repercussions of dinner. I gotta put some miracle oil on my leg. It is itching like crazy. I have got bug bites from being out at camp, and I'm itching. And this miracle oil will stop it from itching. Should join you for that is never going to happen. Red is not a Facebook Live kind of person. That's not his thing. He's a way more private person than me, and me even sharing those stories sometimes makes him a little uncomfortable. And so, if that offended him, I apologize to him in advance, and I try to ask permission to tell his stories, because I feel like you have to honor people's spaces no matter if you're married to them or not. And my fan is not blowing on me. Give me a moment. Oh, my fan is not. I don't know what's going on with this fan. It feels like it's not playing out the air that I want to put out. I don't know why. And I'm going to do this because, yeah, he may pop in and say hi, but he's not going to go live, right? So I learned this weekend also that sometimes when I stop trying to drive the bus, when I stop trying to conduct traffic, it goes a lot smoother and a lot faster. And that, we talk about sitting in the space. Tell him it's not about that. He just is uncomfortable on a live situation. He just has no reason, he says, to be live on the internet. um, See him yeah, he'll be in the background. And y'all, if you watch some things, especially on the nighttime lives, he likes to be silly and pop right back here in this little like space with my door, and he'll like do a little dance or something silly, depending on how medicated he is, just being silly. But yeah, it's not his thing to be online. He's like, I don't need to do that. Even when you see he's just we'll get him there, right? But I didn't add this to my list when I should have, because it's also about me always feeling like I have to be in control and be responsible for everything. And sometimes allowing people to bloom, right? Sometimes we don't allow our crops to bloom because we crowd them out with our energy, right? Sometimes the people we want to help the most, the people that we want to influence the most, we don't give them the space to grow because they matter so much to us that we suffocate them. And I think that we do that not only to maybe our partners, our spouses, our children, the people who are in our proximity, that we see day in and day out. Sometimes, right? What I call, like, you can get stuff can get too much sun, right? You've seen plants when you've grown that it gets so hot that the sun burns them. And I feel like a lot of times as we go through this path of like spirituality, using cannabis as an ethnogenic tool and learning to like kind of work through the things and utilizing the cannabis and utilizing um, the medicine, right? In a way that is medicine and not masking, right? When we start working through it and we're not just the party animals, what kind of really like saying like, hey, through the use of my medicine, By the way, those s'more star cookies are the bomb. Yes, and they're even more bomb if you put them in the microwave or the air fryer for a few minutes to get them hot again. I think that I'm going to probably a little underbake them moving forward, and then put on the instructions like, hey, pop in your air fryer or your oven for like a minute on this whatever to be able to get that schmooey, ooey gooey tear apart, because that's what makes them chef's kiss, right? But what I was saying is like being there all the time. We're not giving them space to step into their own experience and their own spirituality, right? Pop the microwave for 10 seconds works too. So on top of the things that like the unintended results of my weekend away, it was also um, it was also a chance for my husband, right? To maybe not be so like blinded by the light that he could actually step into his own light. And so if you are struggling with like the people closest to you and you're feeling like maybe they're not hearing the message, maybe they're not evolving or growing with you, I want you to know that sometimes you've got to step back and you have, even when we're growing cannabis plants, right? Think about this. When they're in the flowering stage, you give them lots and lots and lots of light. So when your plants are in veg and they're not in flower, but they're in veg state, when they're growing and they're like getting all the things, you leave the light on a lot, right? But when you want to start seeing the buds and the flowers and the good stuff come out, sometimes then you have to cut back on the light you give them. They have to get less light, right? They have to get more water and more nutrients. So sometimes we don't think of our flock or our congregation or our family members, or because we're a family, right? We're the Grateful Fed family. And I talk about inviting people to the Grateful Fed family. I sent one of my country lists. Yes, and this is Lisa, because Lisa sent me a message. She ordered them for her cousin to become stronger, right? So the plants need a little darkness, a little less time in the sun to be able to get to their full potential. And that's the analogy that I'm using this weekend was is that I took so much sunlight on like red, trying to like this is what I'm thinking. This is our motto. This is our brand. And I stepped away and I allowed him um, to flower. I allowed him to bloom and to bud. And I didn't allow it. I just didn't try to take control of it, right? I it happened like it was supposed to. It was the trusting in the seeing in the divinity in it. And I loved that so much. That's an unintended result. That's something that did not know was going to come up. And that's the thing that we talk about that with, like, I talk about my partner, but think about with your children. Think about the fact that we try to take control and be in charge of, but then I talk to mothers all the time. I talk to moms all the time who they are struggling with their kids sassing them at home or not cleaning their room at home or being fighting with the siblings or just being a kid in their safe space, and they'll say things like my blah 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 was doing this and running his mouth and being an ass and all the things. But then I had a mom stop me and tell me he stood up for her son, and he was very eloquent and was very kind, and he like is the epitome of a gentleman. And she's like, I'm so confused by it. I'm so confused by how much of an asshole this kid is at home and how wonderful this kid is out in the world. And I said, stop. I was like, here's what I'm going to tell you. You're doing it right, mama. I was like, think about, I said, every boy at a certain age, they call it, they start smelling themselves, right? And every kid, I don't care if it's male or female. I feel like boys get a real cocky though when they start and this is going to be this is the only way I know to say it. And it's what my mom used to say. I'm just going to say it because I want to talk about why I got to just say it too. When their balls drop, right? When their balls drop. And I was like, all kids at a certain age start smelling themselves when their balls are dropping, right? They think that their voice changes, all of a sudden they can be an asshole, right? Feeling their oats, yes. I said, what if he was that person everywhere? If he's an asshole out in public, he gets to, or those kids get to go through all of those growing pains and grow through all of that sassiness. If my kid does it at home, that's the safe space to do it. That's where you're supposed to be an asshole, right? That's where you're supposed to you're safe to do it. But if that kid goes out into the world and represents your family and represents your values and your morality in a way that is pleasing to the world, right? Not to should be pleasing to the world, but it's in alignment with your energy and what you wanted them to learn, right? If what people tell you about your family or your kids when you're not around are all of the things that you are just, it makes your heart beam of pride. And then you kind of even like think about like at school where they're like, oh, they were beautiful in class, and you're like, well, that's crazy. They were beautiful at home. Um, it's because sometimes they need a chance to bloom and to be without you telling them how to bloom and how to be and having to see you, right? Because a lot of times when we're with people who maybe are more two different people. And here's the thing, I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. And my husband used to call it being an Eddie Haskell. And I'm like, it's not though. I said, it is not though. I was like, it is not fake. I was like, because when kids are a certain age, when you're even now, like all through life, right, as human beings, we go through phases of growing pains, is what I call it, right? And you're just an asshole between the ages of whatever and whatever. There are different phases in life when we go through these growth stages where our energy is wonky. We're out of whack and we kind of behave badly, right? It's kind of like just happens, right? Fight the one that has always controlled taught. Hang on. Yeah, they want to argue with the one who well, here's what I'm saying. When you are angry and upset and frustrated, right? Your safe space and the people that you can take it out on are the people that you know are going to always love you. And I told my husband whenever Evan was feeling himself, right? He was having his moments and stuff. And I was like, here's the thing. I was like, um, if he's going to act like this, he needs to do it with us because we're safe. He knows he can get away with that. And his impulse control requires that moment of like, because sometimes you got to scream and yell. And I said, we have provided no other outlet for him to go through this, right? This is okay. I'm like, it's okay. I said, but when he's out in the world, he's acting like a good person. And there are times when I'm like, when I got really mad at Evan, when I pulled Evan aside and when I just cut off energy with Evan, and he's in here. We've talked about it. It's not like I'm sharing this. It's like, don't. I was like, Evan and I are cool with telling this. Evan's a lot like me. He's like, we'll tell it all. We'll see what happens. Who cares, right? It's part of who I am. That, and I love that I taught him that. I think that that's something that I personally instilled in him. Is the fact of own your shit, right? Own it. Two things can be true. You can be an asshole and a good person. But to be an asshole and a good person, you have to understand that you're being an asshole and own it. You have to be accountable for the asshole. When you're being an asshole, and then in some instances being a good person, but when you're a good person, you always like act like you were never an asshole. That is not growth to me. And that is my personal opinion of it, right? I believe that you can be an asshole and a good person if the good person acknowledges the fact that when you're being an asshole, you're being an asshole. And you try to keep that asshole into a specific space and not to go spread that assholery everywhere, right? That's a whole other thing. But let's talk about the intended reasons for this weekend and my unintended consequences. We're gonna go through those today, and then we're gonna talk about a couple of other fun and exciting things. Okay. So do me a favor and drop me a hashtag Grateful Fed real quick and tag one more person who's not watching today. We got 6 of you on. We are live in a couple of places. We're live in the Hometown Hippie Facebook private page. We're live on the YouTube channel. So if you are watching this on YouTube, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and give me a like. Get that bell to get notifications when we're on live. We have a very robust YouTube channel and we're trying to grow that. I've learned to control the asshole with this. Yes, you have to, right? And then we're also live on the Hometown Hippie public business page. Okay. So many of you know, many of you don't know that I went away this weekend for a women's retreat in Pamplin, Virginia at a cannabis bud and breakfast farm. It is a place where they are a local hemp farm. They have the correct on the legal amount of plants growing, and they share, right? They share. Um, and Grateful Fed, what's up, Grateful Fed? And it's a lot more roughing it, right? It's a lot harder roughing it than what I intended for the weekend, but it's okay. I got through it and it was all fine. But when I went out this weekend to this retreat, I was happy birthday, Nikki. Happy birthday. My goal was to learn how to set boundaries in times of clarity I've been talking about this forever, is that I go along to get along. I go along to get along very easily. Things roll off my back, regular, just I don't let things bother me. And then when things do bother me, right, when I get pushed, right, because I feel like, here's what I feel like. Anything in excess is the problem. And that's what I came up with this weekend on my boundaries and what I need to understand. I'm going to set this clearly with you, right? I have office hours. I have business hours. They are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Right? I didn't think about this growing like it has. And my personal cell phone number is on all of the marketing materials, and my personal cell phone number, my text messaging, all the things. So even when I am sitting around at night and wanting to contact a business, and I go to the business page and I can see that when you have your space rolling, you can sleep in your own bed at retreat. Yes, yes. Um, whenever whenever I get, my biggest frustration is getting messages and emails and calls and asking questions of me in the middle of the night, because I'm like, it really frustrates me. I'm like, and then I don't really care if they send it, but I really get frustrated whenever they send it at like 2 a.m. and then at 7 a.m. they are asking me why I haven't responded yet. I'm telling y'all, I get inside of it. It triggers the fuck out of me, right? I'm like, why does anyone believe that they have the right to message me at 2 a.m.? Like, I am sitting there waiting for somebody to message me a question about some bullshit. And then if I didn't wake up at 2 to get it, that I definitely am up at 6 a.m. just checking messages to like make sure I respond to everybody within moments. And I'm like, woo, right? Or people just randomly showing up to my house. And I'm like looking at, I'm like, I've not explained that clearly, right? So a couple of things I'm going to do. Number one, my phone, this phone is going to be this phone number that I've had for a million years. This is my intended result was to set these boundaries out of clarity, right? And I'm going to take this phone number, and I'm going to switch everything on this phone over to um, business, to the business stuff. And it's going to have automatic messages and things set at it. I'm probably going to even have to create a new personal Facebook profile. And those things are going to be very private. Those are not going to be public things. And I feel really awkward and I feel really strange having to do that. But my online presence has grown. I have got TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, the groups, things I'm doing outside of this. And for me to be able to not always be the hometown hippie, sometimes I just want to be Tammy. And I always like, I'm just Tammy, but I'm like, no, I also am the hometown hippie. And so exactly what I've been saying, separation of church and state. I need some privacy. And here's the thing. The problem that I have with that boundary is that I am not great with privacy. I'm not great with my own privacy. I tell it all. I just tell everything. I tell my business. But I'm realizing that a lot of the boundaries that I'm talking about are the boundaries I need clarity on, or boundaries not that anybody else was walking over the line on. It wasn't about the fact that so and so messaged me at 2 a.m. because they were a little buzzed and not thinking. It was about the fact, right, that I felt the need to respond back. The fact that it was a boundary for me, and that's what I got clarity on, right? I was projecting that I needed these boundaries for all these imaginary people that were stepping on them. But honestly, what it is that I don't honor my boundaries. And I have to stick to my boundaries. And I have to stop feeling guilty about having boundaries. My inability to hold my boundaries. Right, right. Now, here are the things that I actually learned this weekend. I actually discovered this weekend. Number one, um, when someone says that they got up with the chickens, it's a lot earlier than you might think. It's a lot earlier than you might think. I'm thinking like the sun comes up at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. The roosters go, oh, the sun is up. No, 4 a.m. 4 a.m. So when someone says they've been up with the chickens, give them some kudos because they've been up a long effing time, right? A long time. Number 2, nothing can break the heart of a volunteer. 4 a.m. rooster start. Yes, nothing can break the heart of a volunteer. And that's the thing for me, is that's what fills me up. Service of others, seeing, getting those messages of, and just what it is, right? My cup is full by helping others and being a volunteer. You cannot hurt my feelings. You cannot break my heart. You're not gonna break my spirit because I am to be of service. And I think that a lot of us here in the Grateful Fed community are volunteers. And so I'm going to also tell y'all about an opportunity for October about being a volunteer that I really need your help with. Okay. When you sit in silence, the messages are the loudest. When you sit in silence, the messages are the loudest. And it takes a whole lot for me to turn it off. And it's because I keep this business phone because people need me. I'm going to go to that in a minute, right? The world will stop turning if I am not readily available 24/7. And I realized this weekend that I sat out in a chair in the middle of a field in Pamplin. And my thing all weekend was, when in Pamplin, and I would just smoke a joint, right? When in Pamplin. But the messages were the loudest when I sat in silence. And it's interesting because I had the Spotify playlist and all my Spotify music playing. And when I sat down Saturday afternoon and really cut everything off and just put on like some Reiki music, it was just soundscape. And I quieted my brain, right? And it's amazing when you unplug from the internet for a couple of days how much clarity you can get. And if you're looking for a message, if you're looking to start communicating with your spirit guides, yourself, your inner self, maybe doing the work to get to that higher self, that broken inner child, the shadow work that I have been kind of not doing, I really leaned in and I really got some clarity around that this weekend. And so the messages are the loudest when you are in silence. So take some time every day to find a moment to just sit in silence and focus on your breath. And I'm going to post later on today some breathing techniques, and I want you to kind of do those and check in on those. And we are starting our Woo Woo 420 sessions tomorrow with My Mystical Life membership. If you're not part of the membership, please get in there before tomorrow. I would love to see some friendly faces. There's a lot of friendly faces over there already. I'm a part of that community. They're a part of our community. My Mystical Life, My Mystical Crystals, the Grateful Fed family, Dragonfly Alchemy, and Dragonfly Reiki Spirit Circle. These are the places that I find refuge. I've now added a new group to that, the Wildflowers out of Virginia Beach. Thank you for welcoming me this weekend. Thank you for the kind words, for sharing space with me this weekend. So I will be doing a monthly Woo Woo 420 talk about cannabis as a spiritual epidemic. And I've been really nervous about stepping into that piece of my power and being a leader in that way, and a guru, I guess. Not a guru like that, but being a teacher or a leader in that realm of topics. And what I learned when I sat in that silence and I prepared for that meditation that I did on Saturday, I've never done a guided meditation in my own voice before, ever. I normally play one of Carly's meditations. I'll pull a meditation from YouTube. I channeled in a mentor. That's what we're looking for, mentor. That is, I channeled in and I did this meditation. I did not write it down. It was very much a guided meditation in the moment with affirmations. And but sitting in that silence gave me the clarity and the strength and um, the faith that I had that inside of me. And when you really unencumbredly let your light shine, it's amazing how bright it is. I'm very proud of myself, and I want to thank all of you. I want to thank all of you, but I'm gonna pull Heather up here. Heather, we have a connection, and I cannot wait till we're in the same. I can't even imagine us in the same space with the energy, but I felt her energy. I know that we're not Reiki 2 attuned yet to do distance Reiki. I also felt the first time I felt my Reiki power. I felt it beaming. I felt it burning inside of me. I felt it, and I felt energized after doing it. I helped 3 people, and they thought it was this. They thought it was the massage rub. I said, "Do you mind if I do a little Reiki massage on your back?" Just because I had some specific areas. I massaged some people and did some CBD rub and really focused energy there. And I could feel that it was working. I could feel pulling out the heat from the inflamed tissues. It was magical. And where I had not felt comfortable, I felt very comfortable hands on Reiki on with food. I had not been as comfortable uh, coming in, coming in to speak people's space with energy in that way until this weekend. So when the store opens, there will be ability to book me for Reiki sessions. I'm going to go ahead and offer those. I have my own brand, my own way of doing it. It'll have like some pieces and parts to it, but it's going to be phenomenal. And I know that. I know it's going to be phenomenal because it's not me. It's the divinity that does it. Okay. Number 4, right? Number 4. So number 1, chickens get up fucking early, man. They get up really early. Nothing can break the heart of a volunteer if you are choosing it, right? And that's what it kind of says, right? If you are a true volunteer and you are there to help out and to give your time and to volunteer, your feelings don't get hurt. You cannot break your heart, right? You got it. You're there because you want to be there. And I think that's anything. When you want something, when you really choose it and it's important to you, then nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you. And that's what I take from nothing can break the heart of a volunteer. Nothing can deter you. Nothing can, when you're choosing it because you want it, you're volunteering to do it, nothing can break your heart. When you sit in silence, the message of the loudest, just whatever that. Number 4, it's okay not to be okay. Okay? But here's the big one. We all know it's okay not to be okay. We all need a little extra help sometimes, right? But a lot of us, when things get going well, we don't know how to be okay. So the thing that I really learned is it's okay to be okay. It's no shame when somebody say, "How's things going?" Like they're going great. And you go around there like, "What's tell me something?" Like, "Well, this is happening and this is happening and life is sucks and blah blah blah." And you feel guilty for not having that bullshit. You did the work. It's okay to be okay. It is okay to be okay. And be proud of yourself for being a lot further along than you thought. I have been judging myself and feeling like I was a charlatan in some way and had what it was is what do they call it? Hang on, y'all. My body is I'm tough this week. Right? Oh, I gotta stretch. Oh, I need some. Hang on, what do I need? I need some. Oh, this is calling to me today to hold some healing energy. I don't know why, but this was calling to me. You may know the spiritual meaning of this because I feel like I need to hold it for my joints. Whew. It's okay to be proud of yourself, right? Um, it's okay to be okay. I I sometimes I can't think what I'm looking for. It's imposter syndrome. I have imposter syndrome, right? I feel like I am not a ascended master, that I'm not like I can't, you know, because I still have things I struggle with. I don't feel like I sometimes am the best person to help others. This weekend I realized that you grow through your mess, right? You grow through it. And I talk about your mess being your message. And I'm proud of where I'm at. I am proud of the work that I have done. I saw a lot of people using cannabis and other substances just like alcohol, y'all, nothing big. It was nothing big. Maybe a few little mushrooms here and there. I did not do my mushrooms. I did not. I left my chocolate bar here. And then someone's like, "Well, I can hook you up." And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I know where mine came from. No offense. I don't know you that well yet." So, but I felt like God said to me, if I wanted to do it, I was comfortable doing mine. And if I left it here, it was not on my radar, then I didn't need it. And I realized I did not need it because here's the thing, right? There's a difference between masking and medicating. And what I realized this weekend and looking around is that these ladies have, and I wish that they would have been. I didn't do this Sunday sermon. I'm going to try to get in touch with the leader of the Wildflowers because I have that definite message that I have for them, and it's definitely needed. These women are at the beginning of their journey. Most of these women are at the very beginning of their journey, and they came into our soul circle for a reason. There are some that are there, and there are others who are still at this point masking and not medicating. But here's the thing: everyone has their journey. Everyone has their path. Sometimes you have to mask, and and I saw this one woman this weekend who I watched from Friday all the way through the moment we were leaving, and she is such a freaking inspiration to me. And I'm going to try to find time to write something and send to her if I can find her information to send it to her. But she was there on scholarship. Someone had paid for her way. She was a mom. She was someone who needed that weekend more than anything. And even though she started out just like letting her hair down and like just being able to relax, by the end of the weekend, her testimony, what her emotions, and a lot of times, like this is going to lead us to the next one, right? Um, Actually, it's going down the road, so I'm gonna come back to that in a second. But it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to be okay. Um, it's okay to be proud of yourself. Um, Number 5, I'm gonna come back to that story. It's just a little further down, okay, for it to make sense. Can I get some thumbs up, some hearts, some O faces? I'm feeling real vulnerable right now. And some grateful feds in the comments, some motivation Monday, something. Can I get some comments down here, right? And definitely there's room for everybody, right? Number 5, the devil is in the details. Now, we take that to mean, right, that you have to like know all the things. You have to have all the details, right? That you have to make it perfect or else it'll screw up, right? However, I believe the devil's in the detail. I took it differently than how you would think. I took it differently. My thing is allow things to flow, right? The devil, the bad energies in the details. If you worry about the details and crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's, then you're missing the bigger picture, right? You're too focused, and you need to come out a little bit and allow things to be. Allow things to flow. Trust in God. All is well. When you stress the details, you are not aligned with your faith. That's what came out this morning, right? When you are stressing the details, you are not aligned with your faith. When you can truly struggle, and you can truly trust that all is in divine time, you do not sweat the details. Okay, so Heather, I'm gonna exactly what she just said. This isn't going as well as mine, and that is a me problem. I'm gonna say this: that is ego, and I love you to death, but that is ego. You have to share your story, and you have to stop thinking that you don't know. Somebody could be way further along than you, and they're not sharing their story because they feel bad that you might feel bad, right? That is our ego keeping us small. That is our ego keeping us small. And then when we say ego, if you're listening to this, that word has got a negative connotation, but we all have ego, personality, body, whatever. And when Carla used that word with me, the reason I'm saying that to y'all is because she shares like, hey, you're hearing that, right? And you're thinking that I'm being mean to you. It's like your ego's in the way. I'm like, no, she's like, that's all of us have that, and it keeps us small. And when we think like someone's gonna think badly of me, because that's why it's okay to be okay. It's okay to be proud of yourself. I have not, people have been asking me to come over, let me practice Reiki. Like, Tammy, please let me. And I've been doing Reiki for years without any knowledge of it. I've been giving my chi energy, my life force energy, I just haven't been calling it in. I've been giving out all of what I have and what I don't have to give, right? And Heather is amazing, but it's her ego that keeps that her from to like give her successes, because it's telling her that you're gonna make people feel bad, you're gonna make people feel guilty, and she's not. She's gonna help people, and that's what I want her to understand. It's not about ego being a bad thing. It's about ego trying to keep you small. It's about ego trying to protect you and not letting you shine, right? So please, 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 I'm begging you to let your light shine, and that's what I learned from the devil's in the details, right? Don't sweat the small stuff. Let it go and let it flow, right? Let it go and let it flow. And that's interesting that I say that, because I wrote this, and then there was a message yesterday that Robin gave to the retreat members. I would love for y'all to go interact on that post as well, about how she got a lucid dream message about every time we don't speak our truth, or we don't share our art, we don't share our food, we don't share our music, we don't share our poetry, we don't share what we have been gifted from God. All of the times that we don't share our divine gifts, then we are stopping the flow of the universe. It's like literally putting a finger in the flow of the universe and stopping up the flow of energy. And so many people do that. That's why the universe is so out of freaking flow, right? We're here to help each other, help each other. Exactly. We're here to lift each other up, to be proud of each other, to help each other on your journeys. Everyone will get to where they need to be in their time. Having a family to share this with is part of their journey. I love it. I love that, Melanie. Um, Number 6, what I learned this weekend. Share that fucking shit. Yes, Heather. Talking to you. That was a message for you, right? Number 6, right? You are. You are. Number 6, my way is not the only way or the best way. I know. Y'all are as shocked as me. Y'all are as shocked as me. I am someone who goes into things like that where it's communal. And normally, I just want to go in and take over everything. Like, okay, I have catered before. I have done this before. I could get this set up where everybody's like this and that. I'm seeing like a million. Like, if I was doing this, and I spent a lot of time on Friday doing that in my brain. I spent a lot of time on Friday doing that in my brain. And then Red called me, right? Friday evening, I got that call from Red. It said, I did this call, blah, 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 I had this whole thing. I knew it was divine time. And I'm like, that's not my way. But look how it worked out. Look how beautiful that was. This is not my way, but that was super fun tonight. We should do that again. Like, I would never, blah, 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 but it's beautiful. And so letting go of that control, Miss Sheila, right? I struggle with that. We all struggle with that. And that's why my mess is my message, because I want y'all to know that, I say I'm as authentic as my food. I struggle with it. I struggle with it. And this is part of my shadow work. And the silence allowed the sound of divinity to come in strong. Yes, I'm breaking down patterns. I'm breaking down patterns and knocking down walls. And I'm going to encourage each of you to find the strength inside of you if you need that. If that is where you are along your path, then I'm encouraging you to step into that power, break those patterns, and knock down those walls. But your way is not the only way or the best way all the time, right? And you have to stop. Now, I still think I could have gone in there and done it. It wouldn't have been better. It would have been different, right? It wouldn't have been better. It wouldn't have been worse. It would have been different. And here's the thing: that was not for me to do, right? If I want to make it different, then have your own place. But I realized this weekend that I don't want to do everything. I saw so many good messages this weekend for me personally that are mine, that aren't need to be shared. But I have a lot of stuff for me too. But these are the highlights. I go into detail on each of these in my journal, and I'm going to be continuing to unpack all this in my journal. And I encourage you to journal. Okay, number 7, very, 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 very important one. If you judge a book by its cover, you miss some pretty amazing stories. If you judge a book by its cover, you miss some pretty amazing stories. We are all put in our little boxes and our little places and our little groups, right? Yuppies and hippies and Republicans and Democrats and women and men and black and white and gay and straight and trans and cis and right and wrong and Methodist and Baptist. You know what I'm saying? We all have our little boxes. These little groups we try to fit into. And sometimes we see other books and we're like, well, that book is not, I'm judging that book. That book has more tattoos than I do. That book has more piercings than I do. That book is way more drunk than I am. That book is way more masking than medicating than I am. That is this, that is that is that, right? Those people are people that are trashy people. No, none of that stuff. We all have those things, right? And I'm like, if you judge a book by its cover, you miss some amazing stories. If you judge a person by the worst part of their story, you miss some pretty amazing endings. So I'm going to encourage you to allow people in your space as you can allow them into your space, and do not judge them by the way that they look or the stories you've heard about them. Read the book. Now, you don't have to read the book in your house at your dinner table. But give yourself some, it might take you a year to read the book to get to know things. However, you need to protect energy, but do not just see something and immediately think that because of what you're seeing that you can judge that and know that who that person is or what that person's about. Because I learned this weekend you cannot do that. Give yourself and others grace. Right? We are all imperfectly perfect. Right? We are all imperfectly perfect. We are exactly how we are supposed to be, but we have faults and we have fears and we have insecurities and we have phobias. We are all human. Allow yourself to have grace with the things that you maybe struggle with. And if you give yourself grace, I promise you the lessons won't be as hard and as hard fought, right? Give yourself and others grace. And then you see somebody who's struggling, give them grace. And I also want to add, give them a hand. Now, I say people have their own karma, and sometimes we cannot help them through it. But what I say to people is this. This is exactly, y'all have heard me do it. If you're new here watching this, maybe this is the first time, but if you're a Grateful Fed member, can I get a hallelujah, amen? What I say to people is this. How may I be of service? How can I be of service? If you can't tell me how I can be of service to you, then I probably cannot be of service to you. You have to be able to verbalize the service and the help that you need. If you're there, if you're not at the place where you know how to verbalize what help you need, then that struggle and that battle is your karma. And that's what I came in for me this weekend, right? I say, how may I be of service? How may I help? How may I help? If they say, I need help, XYZ, then it is my decision to say, okay, if I can be of service that way, and I can say, I can offer you the services that you, I say, how may I be of service? You're like, well, I need to borrow $1 million. Unfortunately, I can't give you $1 million, but may I ask, why do you need $1 million? Like, what can we do? Maybe we can help you get it, right? That's a far-fetched thing, but I can also help connect you. I might not be the one that can give you the help that you need, but I'm going to ask you, how may I be of service? And most of the time when people ask you, like when you say, how may I be of service? They actually tell you, and they want to, and they need service or they need help. It's usually something very easily that I can do. Sometimes we don't try to help others because we don't know how to help. So we assume we're not able to. But if you just simply ask the question, right? Um, that's how I give grace, right? If I see someone struggling, I need a meal so I can be lazy. And I would say, then you don't need $1 million. You need to work harder because you want to be lazy. There's a problem with that, right? And that's just the truth of the matter. My girlfriend needs praise today. She's going to court for DUI because she uses MMJ, medical marijuana. Laws have to change. I'm going to say this. I don't know who this is. I'm not sure who this is. This Facebook user. I am going to say this. If you are using marijuana, or I don't even want to say marijuana, I hate that word, cannabis, medically or not, you do not need to be behind the wheel of a car driving when you're high. Period. I do not condone that. I have done it on edibles by accident, but I am going to tell you right now, I wish them the best. I wish them the best. But if they were under the influence and driving, they need to learn a lesson, and that's just the truth of the matter. You can control your energy and your space and what you do for medication. And if you were not to the place of intox, if you were medicated, not stoned, right? There's a level of that, 100%. Medicated, not stoned. But if it impairs your driving and impairs your ability to motor down the road, it's not just your space that you're influencing; it's other people's, and you can harm other folks when you are doing. The day that I drove to Farmville and the edible hit, I pulled over on Main Street and stopped my car and waited right there until I was physically able to drive. Because what I do to myself is my business, but what I do and can hurt others is not just my business anymore. She wasn't it. It was just see, that's exactly what it is. Yep. And that's bullcrap, right? That's bullcrap. That's targeting. And I 100% do not agree with that. They have to be able to, have a limit with that. I think it needs to be smelled in the car. There has to be a sobriety test that is passed, all of those things. But you are able to do what you need in your space. But anything that you do that can affect other people and infect them, and that's one of the things that I talked about versus masking versus medicating, right? Sometimes anything, even cannabis used in excess, is an addiction and is a problem. You need to be able to live in this world and be able to see the world for what it is and utilize your medicines and your herbal techniques in a way that expands and not limits. And everyone has their own walk with that. Everyone has their own opinion with that. I do not yuck anyone's yum. You can do you. But I believe that there's consequences and actions. And I understand what you're saying. She wasn't lit. It was in her system from the night before. That is ridiculous. And I think that that is something that's very much able to be proven and talked about. If you're in the state of Virginia, I'm not sure who this even is. I'm not even sure who that is. If you are in the state of Virginia, right? It is a legal state. And you need to also, and that's one of the things I'm doing this Woo Woo 420. I said, ask me any questions because there's also laws and it's your responsibility to stay within those laws. And if you don't, and I know that we are all in that gray area, right? We are all in that gray area of how we do right and wrong, but we have to all understand our consequences and I believe and will help however we can as far as being advocates. And that's why it's important for me to educate and to advocate. And we need to send her lots of good energy and lots of good love because, you know, we don't want to see somebody get in trouble for something that they should not be in trouble for using a plant that was put on this earth. I do not believe that anybody should be faulted for that. There are plenty of people sitting in prison right now that need to be home with their families, and an apology need to be given because the United States government is a bunch of assholes, and I don't want to get into it. But there are also, it's our responsibility to know the rules and the regulations and to follow them. And it sucks, but I will send lots of love and healing energy to that. All right, it got hot in here, like super hot in here. And this goes right into what this is, right? Not everything is for everyone, and that is okay. Give me a second, y'all. I'm like all of a sudden like feeling real funny. Like real, give me a second, like something just. I'm gonna get my water. Woo! Sorry, y'all. Like I got real. Woo! Well, unfortunately, Christine, they don't know have a way. A DUI is not a DUI because with marijuana, or I don't like to use that word; it's a racist word. With cannabis, um, it's in your system for 30 days, regardless. Period, regardless. And so there's no reason to um, get a DUI unless you can prove that you are. I'm fine. I just had coffee and just needed water. It's okay. And so I feel like there's got to be some like some areas because recreation, medically, whatever you use it for, if you're not driving under the influence, there's no way in hell that they can give you a DUI based on a blood test because a blood test is going to show if I haven't smoked anything since I don't know before Game of Thrones last night. So 8:30 the last time I had any kind of medicine. I had some topicals. I put some stuff on my skin. But if I got pulled over right now and they did a blood test, I would test positive for cannabis, 100%, probably for the next 2 years. Probably for the next 2 years, and I'm not DUI, and I should not be charged with DUI, and that's bullshit. And that's just how I feel about it. But again, not everything is for everyone, right? There are people who hate it, who think that cannabis is the devil and all the things. Not everything is for everyone. They do this. They will actually target, pull it out of a dispensary. So they see you leaving the dispensary, and they think they can fuck with. They do it all the time. In Virginia, everywhere, it happens all the time. They just want to mess with you. So I think it'll work itself out if all was well and all was in divine time. but not everything's for everyone, right? Like for me, like people are like, here's the thing. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I very much try to, if I'm taste testing edibles, things like that, I try not to drive with it. I really do. I don't have it in my car ever. I don't want to give them a reason, right, to like give me a hard time. But everybody has their own walk. It's your own karma. And not everything is for everybody. That is how I personally feel. Therefore, that is how I am going to act and behave. Have I never not smoked? Yes. Have I spit my vape pen because my anxiety? I believe there's a difference. I do carry my vape pen in the car, but I believe that there's a difference between medicated and stoned, and I believe that the same thing goes for people that are eating pain pills and benzos and all of that. That I am no more medicated as far as being able to drive or being not able to operate my vehicle as someone who takes a Xanax or a diazepam or a Klonopin or all of that does. And I think that I have driven to work in the morning after trazodone, Ambien, and all of that, and been way less likely to drive well than getting up in the morning, hitting a bowl, and then going to work. Because I don't think hitting a bowl and going to work is going to affect my driving ability. Um, but if it does and I hurt somebody, then I 100% take those consequences on me. But I don't feel like I've ever put myself in a situation to harm others, and that's the biggest thing, right? We talk about that. One of my drivers told me, by the way, if I do a bowl, I need 15-minute break. I'm like, you can't do that. Don't tell me this. Seriously? Yes. 100. That you should not. Yes. One of my drivers told me, by the way, if I do a bowl, yes, you should. They don't need to be driving. I mean, if they're high, they're high. Yeah. There's a lot of gray area there, and everybody has their own opinion. Here's what I say. Um, Walk your path. If you feel that you are okay, and I mean that's how I feel about it. Like everybody has their own way about it, but there are consequences to actions. And this is a time and place for everything. There is a time and place for everything. And I just feel like number one, if you are working, like if you're at work, then being medicated is one thing, but being stoned is different. And I tell even you can ask everybody who works for me because we medicate at work, we do. But I told them, I was like, here's the thing. If you show up fucked up, do not come to work with me. I know that we make edibles. I know that we advocate and educate about cannabis, but we do it in a way that I hope is driving a tow truck. Okay, number one, then I and my opinion, and my opinion is like assholes. We've all got one, and they probably all stink. I would not have someone working as a tow truck driver if they rolled around smoking weed all day. My liability wouldn't have it. There's a time and a place. If you want to be medicated, then maybe you should not drive a vehicle for a living. Just saying. But I know that they are people who drink and drive, all those things. And if you see it and you think DUI from drinking and driving is atrocious and you don't understand people do it, then you should not be doing it with cannabis either. Anything in excess is not great. Anything used out of context is not great. It is it's a consequence for it. It's karma. You got to deal with it. And I would hate to think about how it feels for somebody to harm another person because of something that they thought was fine, right? And here's the thing: bosses feel differently. Get you mad, and the bosses feel differently until they kill somebody, or they kill themselves, or they wreck one of their trucks, and then they don't have insurance anymore. But that is their karma, not my karma. I don't interfere with that. That's them. They have to do that, right? And that's a great area. It's really hard because that's what happened with masking versus medicating this weekend. Because there are days when y'all see me come live right here and I am way past medicated. I've had a s'mores cookie and I am slap dap just stoned. And I've gone from over medicated into masking whatever was going on. And I'm not actually using my cannabis at that point for medicine. I'm not using my cannabis at that point for a spiritual tool. I'm using my cannabis at that point for escapism and masking whatever it is, or just silliness and fun. And I own that. I own that. And that is a lot of where my judgment comes in from it because I project. I'm like, I see somebody just stoned and acting stupid and I get mad about it because I'm mad at myself when I do that. because I get angry with myself when I don't do that in the right time and place. If I'm sitting with my girlfriends and we're safe and we're not leaving anything, that's exactly why they fear fully legalizing it. People are stupid. Here's the thing. That is not why they fear legalizing it, because they legalized alcohol and people are a lot more fucking stupid on alcohol. They don't fear that people they want us to be stupid. That's money to be made. The reason why they can't legalize it fully is because they don't know how to solely control it, because we can all grow it because God created it and it's here and it grows wonderfully without it being done in a lab where they can say, only we know how to do this. That is 100% while they are fearful. They're not fearfully legalizing it. They don't want to let go of the control, because right now the only money they can make off of it is DUIs, medical marijuana cards, what they call it marijuana. It shouldn't be called that, because that's a racist fucking word. It should be called a legal cannabis use card or a medical cannabis card. They keep it illegal because the only money they're making off of is the prison system and the court systems right now. That's how they're making money off of it. If y'all don't wake up to the fact that anything that the government does is to fucking make money off of us and to control us, then you're in the wrong spot if you're over here. Because, I mean, that's just how it is, right? It's the money. It is not about how they want us to be stupid. They keep us stupid. They love stupid. They prey on stupid. And people are not stupid, right? People need it. I mean, here's the thing though: if the government stopped doing the stuff, people wouldn't need to do it and act stupid, right? That's a whole, I'm on a rant. I'm not gonna get into that. I hate to get into that. Whoo, that's a shadow work coming out. I said, not my. That's what I was saying. Like, not my way is not always right. My way is not always right. It is not always the best way, and I know that. This is just my opinion. We're on my platform. This is my opinion. I don't yuck anybody's yum. I don't judge anybody at all. That is your karma to be with. I send you love and light regardless, right? And I say things all the time. No, you're not my fault. Ain't no fault. No. I get what you're saying, because people are stupid and people don't know how to act right. But I'm saying, like, I want you to know that don't think that the government is keeping it illegal because they don't, because the way people behave on it. Because the way that people behave on cannabis is way better than people ever acted on alcohol. And you know that, I know that, the world knows that. So if that was the fear, that would be the first thing that was illegal. It was about protecting the people, it would be that would be what is illegal. And again, I'm not mad at you. Please, if that came off that I'm like my fault, no, I'm not saying that. I'm like, here's the message I want you to have. People are stupid. As a group, we are stupid, but individual people are not. I feel like when you lump together and you look at it from like a stupid point of view. But I had a whole rampage about that. But like I said, not everything is for everybody, and that's okay. And if things are for you that are not for me, then I'm gonna bless and release. Now, will I choose to share energy with someone that makes and chooses to put the safety of others? Um, they don't care about what happens to other people. They don't think about that. They just mask and mask and mask. Here's the thing. I love you from a distance. I want you to eat just at my table. And I will 100% send you love and light when you're ready to come to the table and act right. Then you're welcome to come to the table and act right. Until you act right, sit at the kids' table. We still gonna send food. We still gonna send love. We're still gonna bless it, right? You gotta be over there eating it. But when you're ready to come to the adult table, come to the adult table. It's like we talked about, right? Sometimes people don't align with your energy, and there's levels of that. And there are people in this world, when they shake their like gold sieve, we talked about this, like scooping into the dirt, and you shake out the gold sieve, and as you start vibrating higher under time and pressure, you become a fine jewel, and you no longer slide through the sieve. You sit in that as a nugget of delicious gold that's plucked out of the mess and mire, and you're now a beautiful piece of gold. But I guarantee you that there's somebody's sieve. We all have our own sieve, right? There's somebody who when they scoop up and they shake, I fall through those holes because I'm not there yet. I haven't ascended I'm not vibrating at their level yet, right? And here's the thing: I need more time, I need more pressure, and the next time the scoop goes in, I might come out of the muck and mire. Some people are still in the muck and mire, And we can't fault them for that. That is their soul's path. That is their soul's journey. That is their karmic relationship. That is their soul contract. It is not my job to fulfill or to negate or to interact with that soul's contract. Um, so I don't yuck people's yums, right? I send love and light out, and I say I'll choose to sit at the grown-up table, my grown-up table, your grown-up table. I could be at the kids' table. I could be sitting in the damn backyard, not allowed in the yard. I get it. We all have our own energies and our own ways of thinking. And I don't yuck anybody's. I don't blame anybody's. None of that. Please don't think that I'm like, I'm not trying to be. I hate that I kind of sound like. Let me stop apologize. That's how I feel about it. That is my opinion. Whether that's right or wrong, it's right for me. It's right for me. If you allow that energy, you'll stay and be here, and we go from there. But I hope that you'll stay and you feel welcome and loved and all that. Because I don't say that in a way to like make you feel less. None of that. Please don't think that. All the things. This is what the last thing. The last thing we're talking about today, because it's been a minute I've been on here. All the things that you think will collapse if you are not attending to them 24/7. But they need me, right? Oh, I can't because the house will fall apart if I'm not there. Oh my gosh, this will happen if I'm not there. This will happen if I'm not there. All those things that you think that will not keep on keeping on without you if you're not there watching it constantly. Guess what? The sun keeps on shining. The stars keep on coming up at night and aligning. People breathe in, people breathe out. All those things keep on keeping on. If you need a break, if you need to unplug, if you need to take a time out, take it. Period. End of story. If you say to me, I can't sit down for 30 minutes. I don't have time. Then you need to sit down for 2 hours, because if you don't have 30 minutes, you need 2 hours. You need to take 2 hours. Period. End of story. Right? Um, you have to take it. I took it. Y'all have been yelling at me to do this for a minute. I took it. Now, 2 customers showed up here on Saturday to pick up their orders. Red was home. Red said, hey, they didn't know because they were on Facebook. So I know I need to go to the website today. I need to update hours and put that in the top. People need to read it. And I'm going to encourage everybody. I'm going to actually put a couple of Easter eggs into the website on different pages. And I'm going to do a contest. And if you can message me all the Easter eggs and read through all the things, then you'll get a free prize. I'm going to give you a coupon code on your next order. But I want people to really go in and don't just click enter the Magic Bakery. Look at the office hours. Look at how we guarantee things to be ready. Because I'm going to set those boundaries, because I'm not going to be plugged into it. And we took the address off of the website. I'm taking the address off of everything. And if you don't come to the store, you're not getting anything at my house. September 1st, we take possession of our property. We're hoping by November 1st to have it up and running. And at that point, you are not welcome unless you are invited to my home. I don't mean that's a boundary. I need that boundary. I need privacy. I will invite you to my home if you need an invite to my home, but talk to me about coming to my home. If not, you will need to come to the wellness center for your consultations and things like that, because I need separation. And all the things, like if I say that, if I do that, if I set this boundary, if I do this and I do that, I'm like, you know what? If they can't align with that, then they don't align with the brand, and they don't want to be part of the great fit. And I got to be okay with that. Not everything is for everyone, right? So that's where we're at with that. That's what I learned this weekend. That's what we have been. I've been rolling around my brain. It is 10:18 in the morning. We have got a really fun. Little thing going on in the group today. If you're not in the Home Therapy Elevated Edibles group, you need to get in there, right? We are doing a positive word jar today that starts with the first letter of your name. We need that good energy coming in today. I do. I hope you do too. So much fun stuff is on tap. Okay, here's the deal. September 1st, the new fall menu drops. There are some things that are gone forever already. Your Reese's Whoopie Pies are gone. Your soft pretzels are gone. The last batch of blondies is cooked and done. Once they're gone, they're gone. There's going to be a couple other things coming off the menu right now. because of the seasonality of it. We need to cook to the seasons. So we're going into our fall menu. That'll be our menu until we go into the holiday menu, which will have some specific holiday baskets and things like that, getting ready to hit the ground running. We have got 22. We sold one spot for the raffle. I'm going to work on that. We may end up having that going for a little while. We're trying to get that raffle sold out to start the farm to table class. Lots of things happening. We're trying to get that sold out so we can do that. I have to keep the carrot cake. I think that carrot cake is staying for a little bit longer. But we do have to switch things up a little bit. So I don't know that I don't know. It may stay because everybody loves it. It's a big seller, so I'm not taking it away right now. I will tell you. I will tell you. Um, Pineapple upside downs are on the maybe board. I saw a lot of those, so I'm kind of keeping those in the air right now. Um, Pineapple upside down and oatmeal cream pies are on the maybe getting rid of list. And the lemon pound cakes, things are just going to switch because it's the fall. We're going to the fall season, so some things are staying, some things are going, that kind of stuff. So, um, y'all, we will be back tomorrow night live in My Mystical Life membership. If you're not over there, please get over there. I would love to have the Grateful Fed family over there showing up. I'm going to kind of do an introduction of who I am and an ask me anything kind of session where you can ask a question. I will either give you the answer if I have it, or I will put it on the list and we will come back and I will provide all of the good, solid answers that you need for cannabis as an ethanogenic. So fourth Tuesdays at 4:20 at fourth Tuesday at 2000 hours. So we're doing at 8 o'clock Eastern time. I'm super excited for it. So make sure if you're not in My Mystical Life, you'll get over there. We'll be back live here on Wednesday night for our What's Up Wednesday. Thursday night, we have our Heart Space Meditation, which is going to be on Zoom. And then Friday morning, back to Wake and Bake. And then Sunday morning, we're back at Sunday Sermon. That makes, I can't wait to have you here in our crazy day. Yes, so I am super, super, super excited to I'm super excited to share this week with everybody. It's a lot of energy. The energy feels great. Lots of good messages. I got my little bruise over here. It's killing me here. I'm so used to everything being backwards still. It still messes me up here. But I'm gonna go jump in the shower, get my shit together, pull all the things that happened over the weekend. My staff will be here at 11. Mel is now Reiki 1 certified. If you work for Hope, you got to go through that certification. So not only will Reiki be infused in your foods, it's also now infused in your packaging because the magic is what you pay for. The cannabis is free. The medicine is free. As always, as we end these lives, we say the following: peace, love, and feast. And as always, y'all, stay elevated. I will see you tomorrow night on Woo Woo 420. Have a good night.